Let's talk sport now, and we're joined by Jacquie, who's been speaking to a champion kickboxer this week, haven't you?
I have. It was just such an inspirational story, this. I just really felt compelled to try and get an interview with this girl, Ruqsana Begum. She was a world champion kickboxer. She is now a boxer aiming to get a world title as a boxer. And what an incredible story she's had. You know, she's had to fight cultural barriers. She wandered into a gym as a teenager, fell in love with kickboxing, had to hide it from her parents because she wasn't sure how they would react, became a champion boxer, had a disastrous arranged marriage, came out of that, bounced back, and then suffered ME and had to deal with all the consequences of that really debilitating medical condition. Her book is out this week, and I can honestly say it's one of the best sports books I have ever read in my life. Even if you don't like sport, you cannot fail to be inspired. Here's her story.
Once I discovered the sport, I would wake up extra early on a Sunday morning, help my mum do all the house chores, and I would ask her very politely if I can attend the gym just to go for a run or something, like on a treadmill. And she would feel bad, and she would say, okay, just go for like an hour, make sure you're home by this time. So little did she know, of course, I was coming to this kickboxing gym. So I managed to keep it a secret from them for around 4 to 5 years.
So Ruqsana, when you got into your boxing, you were enjoying it, you realised what was involved in the training. Did you feel guilty about not covering up, not wearing a hijab?
Absolutely. There was a constant conflict between my faith and my values and how I've been brought up. But later on, I realised that it's all about your intention rather than what your piece of clothing is.
It was all going so well for you, and then you were kind of made to have an arranged marriage, and that was a disaster.
I was trying to be a good daughter. I was trying to live up to everyone's expectation of me, and at that time I didn't quite know who I was. So we went ahead with the wedding, and of course within 9 months I went through depression, panic attacks. I completely lost my identity.
You had the most amazing success, really against the odds.
Where I received my parents' blessing to come back to the gym, I just thought, well, I'm going to take advantage of this now. They just want their daughter back, and I want myself back. I want to heal myself. And the sport gave me a lifeline.
You're competing well. And then you've now got to deal with another barrier, which is ME.
That was one of the biggest struggles of my life. That really debilitated me.
When you went for the world title, you were feeling really bad, and your ME had really sort of kicked in on that day. How did you do that? Because Bill didn't think you were going to do it.
No.
But somehow you did. You won.
We went to the changing room, and I couldn't even last a warm-up. And Bill said, he doesn't feel comfortable with this. And I said to him, give me 2 minutes, one round. I could knock her out in the first 30 seconds and we can all go home. The fight went the distance, but I just dug deep.
Do you have lots of girls coming up to you saying, you've been my inspiration, you're the reason I follow sport? I mean, that must happen all the time.
I've received so many messages. I feel quite overwhelmed, if I'm honest. My story can help others to see that there's always light at the end of the tunnel. I still can't believe I managed to do that. Did I really become a world champion? Because when I look back, and I think it's incredible, a little girl from East London becoming a world champion is still disbelief for me.
And what do your parents think of it now, your career choice? Are they cool with it?
I think they're really proud now. I haven't compromised on my faith, on my values in order to pursue a sport. And that for me is a huge thing, to be able to bridge that gap between being Western, being proud to be British. It's been an amazing journey.
Ruqsana, you were brilliant, and if your parents are watching this morning, you should be very proud of your daughter. It's almost like she can do anything. Nothing ever gets in her way. She just sort of ploughs through it.
Yeah, she's an incredible young lady, isn't she? And do you know what, Jacquie? She reminds me a little bit of you. Nothing gets in your way either. Quite right too.